Hey folks, recording this because for some reason the camera erred on me last time. Reviewing Pig Latin. Pig Latin is that funny made up language that messes around with consonants and depends very heavily on the vowel. Uh, Quick summary. So if a word starts with a consonant, we go ahead and find that first vowel, and that's where we break and start moving the word around. So we've got several examples here. Bring becomes ingbre, book becomes ukbe, throw becomes othre, and so forth. Now, if it starts with a vowel, and for this one we are limiting it to the basic five, um, we don't change the word at all. We just tack on the extension AY or HAY. AY is up here for consonants, vowels is HAY. Okay? So, okay. Got my standard skeleton set up. This version will be the cut or split method. Hopefully I'll get all three versions made, but if not, I'll get them up as quick as I can. What do we need to do? Well, we need to prompt the user. We need to find the vowel. And then we need to actually check for first vowel. See if it's in the first position. If not, we find the vowel. And actually, that'll be it. Three simple things to get us going. All right, prompt, very straightforward. Enter a word. Now, this is very specifically a word Pig Latin thing. We're not doing a sentence, okay? So we don't have to worry about any extra rules or stuff like that. So we just call it word. Okay, I've got my scanner, scan.next. Again, because we're using word, I'm only using next. If we were doing a full line, we'd do next line, but that's sufficient for what we need right now. All right, so now let's just start checking. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to check the first letter. And for that, I'm going to keep everything as strings. Word.substring 0, 1. Now this is hard-coded, but that's because I'm specifically looking at just the first letter, okay? Now, the if test on this is basically where we're going with this. It's very simple, but it's going to take up a lot of real estate inside our code just because we have to check for 5 of them. So we'll do the first one together. Letter dot equals, and then inside I put A. In order to make sure there's no kind of problems with capitalization, we can also go ahead and do this to lowercase and just turn everything lower just so we're safe on that. And that's going to make this that much shorter because we don't have to use equals ignore case. Okay? Now, there's A. What I'm going to do is I'm going to repeat that 5 times. That's my test. That's why it takes up a little real estate because we've got to go back in and put all of these where they go. There's I, and one more E. Okay, so there's all 5 of our vowels. If we find a vowel in that first position, remember, we do not change the word whatsoever. We just tack on H-A-Y. So, okay. We print the word as usual, and then we attach H-A-Y, hard-coded it. There's the vowel, okay? And we'll give it space to make it easy to read. And that's it. That is all if the vowel is first, okay? Now, When we go to find it elsewhere, this is where we are going to need some extra layers, okay? Now, if we find it in the first position, I don't want to code this stuff that I'm about to write. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide all of this stuff inside an else. So it's only going to do one of these two functions. Inside here, because I'm going to scan through and search a word, this is where I need a loop. Now, you can use whichever loop you prefer. I'm going to go a for loop. Less than word.length. That way it doesn't matter what size my word is. And then I++. I'm actually going to also go ahead and start at 1 because we've already searched position 0, so we can just go ahead and skip that. Seems very little, but sometimes that matters. If we've got a very long word, it'll save us a little bit of iteration. Here we go. Okay, now my inside, this is where I need an if test. Guess what? We've already written it. It's right here. So I'm going to steal this code we wrote above. Okay. And we do also need to mess with letter because letter is now changing every time. It's not static. So rather than hard coding here, this is where I'm going to go ahead and shift to abstract. Okay. So every time it moves, it's going to grab a new letter to test to see if it's a vowel. All right. Okay. Now, because now we're dealing with consonants, now we're talking about breaking and rearranging a word. So we've got to take some more steps. Okay. We can't just print down here. So I'm going to make some substrings. First one is going to be all those collected consonants at the beginning. All right. So word starting at 0 and then stopping at I, because that's where we found our vowel. That's all we want to do. That's our first chunk. Now the second chunk starts at I. And because of how substring works different between 1 and 2 parameters, we're okay with just that. If I wanted to, yes, I could very easily put word.length. That's fine. But I'm trying to keep it as simple and as short as possible, so I'm going to leave it there. Now, those are my two chunks of code. So now I reverse their order. Okay. So right here, I'll start with sub 2, then concatenate sub 1, and instead of HAY, I do AY. Now, the last thing I need to do is I need to break out of this loop because I don't want to do this more times for every vowel. I just want the first vowel. So inside the loop is when I'm going to kick out break. That will knock us out of the for loop, which will then subsequently knock us out of the else statement, and we'll be done. All right? So let's try a few words. Okay. Umbrella. Umbrella hay. Good. Afterwards. Afterward shay. There you go. All right, let's try some consonants. Java. Java J. And let's go the big long one everybody liked. All right, S-A-N-T-H-E. Chrysanthemum. Anthemum chrysae. There you go. All right, so that's the cut or the split method for Pig Latin. Thank you.